AI versus author. I am going to do a test where I go head-to-head with Chat GPT writing a science fiction novel to see who can write science fiction better. My name is Candace Jarrett. I am the author of Mortal Tether, which is a dystopian, a post-apocalyptic science fiction novel that is appropriate for ages 13 and up. I told Chat GPT, write a science fiction novel opening from a first-person point of view. That was it. That was the only prompt I gave it and the only prompt I gave myself. It had to be science fiction, had to be first-person point of view. This is what ChatGPT came up with.
I woke up with a jolt, disoriented and surrounded by a cold metallic hum. The last thing I remembered was the blinding flash of light and the deafening roar of an explosion. As my vision cleared, I realized I was lying in a sleek, futuristic chamber filled with pulsating screens and unfamiliar technology.
That is ChatGPT's opening. This is my opening. Is not Mortal Tether. It is not something that I've edited 1,000 times. It is just something that I came up with off the top of my head. You don't remember taking your first breath, but you sure as hell remember taking your last. The rattle of pus in your lungs, the explosion in the base of your skull as nanites cross the blood-brain barrier and begin devouring the soft flesh of your fragile brain. They say morphine disrupts the transfer of consciousness in the moments after death, and the machines need us to feel every bit of it for the damn thing to work. I call BS. Tech enjoys watching humans suffer like the lab rats we are. Or were, in my case. So now I'm going to contrast my opening and ChatGPT's opening so we can see the differences between the two. So ChatGPT makes what is kind of a common writing mistake of having the character wake up during the first paragraph. Now, this isn't necessarily completely bad because the character is waking up to something exciting happening. They're waking up to the fact that they're trapped in a futuristic chamber. The problem with the ChatGPT opening, in my opinion, is that there's no emotion. I mean, if you, as a human, woke up in a tube and you didn't know where you were, you would feel some type of panic. You would feel some type of fear of death, fear of, am I going to be trapped here for the rest of my life? Am I going to be a lab specimen that's torn apart by aliens? There's no fear here at all.
I woke up with a jolt, disoriented and surrounded by a cold metallic hum. As my vision cleared, I realized I was lying in a sleek futuristic chamber filled with pulsating screens and unfamiliar technology.
There's no fear there. And also, so in addition to there not being really any emotion in this opening, we also don't know who this person is. And you don't need to know a character's whole backstory in the first paragraph, but you should get some sense of their voice, some sense of something about them as a person that is conveyed in those opening lines. Like I had mentioned in my other video about Katniss Everdeen waking up during the beginning of the Hunger Games, and when in that opening, we knew that she had a sister that she was protective of. So we know something about Katniss as a person from even those first few lines. In this one, we don't know anything about this person. And also, they don't seem to have any emotion, really, despite the fact that something very dramatic is happening to them. So in the opening of mine, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing again, it's just, you know this person is angry. You can feel the anger. You don't remember taking your first breath, but you sure as hell remember taking your last. So we know that this person has died. And also that they're angry about it. The rattle of pus in your lungs, the explosion in the base of your skull as nanites cross the blood-brain barrier and begin devouring the soft flesh of your fragile brain. So we don't really feel the emotion of those things, but we can still feel the disgust and disturbing. Like, it's not just describing something as a cold metallic hum. Like, the rattle of pus, you can hear it, feel it. Like, whenever you write a book, you need to make your opening hit really hard. And then the next part, they say morphine disrupts the transfer of consciousness in the moments after death, and the machines need us to feel every bit of it for the damn thing to work. I call BS. Tech enjoys watching humans suffer like the lab rats we are, or were in my case. So we know that this person has had their consciousness taken out of their body at the moment of death, and now they are in the body of a machine, and so they're not human anymore. They're angry about it, and they hate the machines. So now we know a little bit about this world, that there are machines that can take humans' consciousnesses out of their body, and we know about this character. We know that they have died, that they were human, that they're not human anymore, and they're angry about it. So even though it's just one paragraph, we already know so much about the character without just having like information dumped at us. We know a little bit of their personality about what they're like. And I think that that's just what's missing from Chat GPTs. Now, one thing I want to tell you is that, do I feel that Chat GPT's opening was like similar to the opening that I wrote for my first novel? Yeah, I kind of do. I mean, my first novel started with a character waking up. I didn't really have any strong emotion or strong sense of who she was in the first paragraph. I had her wake up and there was a tree branch scraping at the window and she was cold and she was like wrapping the blanket around her, and that was my first opening of the first book that I ever wrote. And I didn't publish that book, and in fact I knew that I could make myself a better writer and I could just practice and practice and hone my sense of voice, my sense of character. And you know, I spent years doing that. And like learning how to write and to really and even before that I was a songwriter for most of my life. So I've been writing for a long time, and I feel that the trial and error of just wanting to be better and to write something and then you know, scrap it because you know you can do something better and then just keep going, that kind of drive develops your style as a writer. So style as a writer isn't just about copying something else or just like making a mishmash. It is about knowing who the character is. It is about empathy to the most deep level, understanding what a character would do in a situation, what a character who isn't you doesn't have your personality, your set of morals, your life experience, but has a whole separate other set of morals and life experience of their own. You know, using your empathy to understand what they would do in different situations. And that is what makes a human writer, versus what AI can do. Now, right now, I feel like AI mimics what I could have done when I first started writing, you know, but will AI, ChatGPT, be able to develop a voice so that way it can mimic like what a human could potentially theorize that they would have a character do and say and how they would act and react? Maybe with enough data? I don't really know. But I do know that there is something missing, something cold and distant from ChatGPT's opening that is indicative of it not understanding life and death, not understanding that, not understanding emotion or want or need. Like when you write a character, you should always be thinking, what are they feeling? What do they want? You know, I think these things are important. Anyway, if you want to support me, please check out my book, Mortal Tether, and see if you want to get a copy of it. It is appropriate for ages 13 and up. It is in my TikTok shop and on sale right now because it's part of the sale for the Thanksgiving holiday, which has already started. So it is not only discounted from me, but also you can get a coupon from TikTok. So thank you so much for watching my video. I hope this was helpful, and happy writing, everybody.